Hi there, welcome back to the Premier League show. Leaders Arsenal travel to face bottom of the table Wolves tonight. We'll cross live now to Amber Sandu, who is at Molineux for us. Amber, great to see you. Look, Arsenal drew last time out against Brentford, so how much pressure is there to take all 3 points tonight?
Hi, Bella. Well, I think it's an important game for both sides, particularly for Arsenal, because they'll be looking to extend their lead at the top by 7 points with a win here tonight at Molineux. And for Arsenal, they've had fairly mixed form. If you look at their last 6 games, it's 3 draws for them. And for Mikel Arteta's side, I imagine with 12 league games and very much the aim being the winning the title, 3 points tonight is crucial. And in fact, Wolves are an ideal opposition to get those 3 points from. I mean, if you look at their record, not only because Wolves have been struggling at the bottom of the table and their league position, and it's been a turbulent season for them, but also if you look at Arsenal's record against Wolves, it's incredibly strong. It's 9 wins on the bounce for them. And perhaps the most impressive statistic of all of them is that they've scored in 36 consecutive games against the West Midlands side. Despite the bleak record for Wolves, they do deserve a little bit of credit. Their performance at the Emirates in December was commendable. They only lost that game by 2 own goals, one of them being in the 94th minute. So I think tonight, of course, Arsenal's aim very much getting the 3 points to take the lead. And for Wolves, giving the fans a little bit more positivity, especially after the cup win over the weekend.
Pressure building on Rob Edwards, Amber?
Well, I spoke to him yesterday in the press conference ahead of this game. He insisted that he doesn't feel or hear the outside noise and the pressure. He knew the situation he was coming to in November when he took the job here as well. This is a club he knows very, very well. And it's not, the general consensus is that play has improved. I was going to say results. They haven't quite translated, but the performances have improved. They're still bottom of the table, 9 points. They're 17 points from safety. I mean, the likelihood is it seems inevitable that Championship football is going to be the case for them next season. But I guess what he wants to do is salvage any points and results that he can do in the last 12 games, but also give the fans something to be positive about. They turn up week in, week out. Of course, it would be good for the team morale as well and the confidence as well. So 2 very different teams under 2 different amounts of pressure. For Wolves, they'll be looking to produce another performance like they did at Molineux at the start of the year against West Ham. That was their only win of the season. And for Arsenal, they very much want the 3 points to extend their lead at the top. Kick-off here at 8 o'clock. And of course, the game is live on Sky Sports Football.
Of course, Amber. Thanks so much. We'll chat to you later. Do you think this is a chance, Clinton, for Arsenal to pile the pressure on Manchester City?
Yeah, I always say it's good for when you're playing, they're playing first, so you put more pressure on them because obviously they've been in good form as well recently, Arsenal, so have Man City. This is going to go right down to the wire, but I still make Arsenal favourites. But everyone's going to hark back to when they only just got over the line against Wolves at the Emirates earlier on in the season. I know it's a different Wolves team, but tonight I think Arsenal will have too much for them. But yeah, it's a big game for Arsenal. It's a huge game because Rob Edwards have got a tune out of Wolves at the moment. He's made them hard to beat. They'll frustrate them. They'll defend in their numbers. But I think Arsenal have enough quality. But yeah, big game. If they go 7 points clear, pressure back on Man City, you've got Newcastle on the weekend. So huge football match this evening.
Yeah, and then, Luke, they tied down Saka for a little bit longer as well. Massive, isn't that?
It's huge, isn't it? He's been such a talisman for them over the last 3 or 4 years now, main man. And he played in the 10 the other night as well, just trying different positions for him as well because he has so much quality and he can open those doors. And tonight he's probably going to need that. Against Brentford previously, last week, they struggled to maybe get those chances and that was one where they felt an opportunity was missed. But tonight it'll probably be a similar game with the way Wolves have been setting up recently. But fantastic news for the fan base. For Saka as well, that's his club at the end of the day and he wants to stay there for at least the next 5 years.
Well, look, forget about Arsenal now because you're going to be concentrating on Newcastle, OK, Luke? Kick-off fast approaching for Newcastle. They take on Qarabag tonight.
And I'll tell you why it's a big disgrace. And if I come in and you see all players doing this, why are you doing this? Be a big man and say what you have to say with your chest out and say what you want to say to Vinicius Junior. Don't try to hide it. Don't try to hide it. It doesn't sit right with me. I've had to speak about this stuff so much times over recently, and it's not good. And it's not going out the game. Kylian Mbappe's spot on. It's never going to change. And I refuse. I'm the same. I don't want to use his name. Why should I use his name? I don't even really want to give him airtime. But we have to give him airtime because I'm here to defend Vinicius Junior because it's bang out of order. I don't care what anyone says, oh, he's not proven guilty at the moment. And I understand he's not proven guilty, but he will probably never be able to be proven guilty because he hid it. As I said, don't be a coward. Say what you have to say from the bottom of your heart. It doesn't sit right with me. It's too many times that these sort of things are happening, and it's Vinicius Junior. And you know what? Fair play to him. He's the first one to come out and always stands his grounds, and he stands on what he believes in, and I believe it with him. It's not. I don't. Black people do not play football to. If you're having a bad game or a bad whatever, if I'm a bad pundit, you can say whatever you want to say. I'm a terrible player. I'm a terrible pundit. Don't racially abuse me for my skin colour. No one should ever be racially abused because of my skin colour. I don't care what anyone has to say. Tell me I'm a terrible footballer. Fair play to Vinicius Junior. I totally respect that, because there's a lot of players in that situation would have let it go over their head. Why should he let it go over their head? Call it out. You have to call it out. Nowhere near good enough. I know I've just had a rant there, but I want to have a rant because it hurts me. It's something close to my heart massively. And I've got children as well that are brought up in this era, and I don't want them to suffer what other people are suffering. So no way. So every time I stand on it and I'll call it out, and he's out of order for saying what he did, and I don't care what anyone wants to say. There'll be people at home shouting at the TV saying, oh, all we're ever doing is talking about stuff. Well, we have to talk about stuff like this because it's being highlighted and it's nowhere near good enough. So that's my opinion on it.
He scored an incredible goal, Luke, but the game, everything has just been overshadowed by what happened and then also what happened following the actual incident.
Yeah, absolutely. And all we should be talking about is Vinicius Junior and the quality he brings to the Champions League. And the Champions League is what everyone wants to go and win and play in. And the fact that we're now discussing the incident that's unfolded, and Clinton sums it up passionately in how it should be spoken about, but we want to be talking about the quality on the pitch and the reaction from Benfica, people like Jose Mourinho, saying we're standing up for this sort of thing. Yes, there has to be guilt proven, etc., which we're probably, like Clint says, we're never going to find out. But ultimately, the reaction from Vinicius Junior in that moment, you know something serious has been said.
There's so many layers to this, and we're going to get into a lot of them. Carve, look, what happens now? Could Prestiani play in the return leg?
Well, the return leg is next Wednesday, and I think there's every chance that he will play in that game if he's selected. Now, I know that sounds incredible. Kylian Mbappe, for instance, said that there is absolutely no way he deserves to play at the Bernabeu next week. He said that he should be kicked out of the Champions League for the rest of the season. But of course, UEFA are going to follow due process. And what they've done pretty quickly, actually, is to appoint an inspector to look into what happened last night. Now, what the inspector will have to do is gather all the evidence, conduct interviews. So I'm pretty sure he'll talk to Gianluca Prestiani, he'll talk to Vinicius Junior, he'll talk to Kylian Mbappe, he'll talk to the referee and other players who heard what happened. And then he will forward his report to the UEFA disciplinary body, and it will be up to them to decide what action to take. If they find anyone guilty of breaking their racism rules, then that player will get a minimum 10-match ban. But the reason I'm saying to you is I think it's likely that he could play if he's picked next week, is that whole process takes weeks. It doesn't usually happen in a matter of days. I would say normally it takes between 2 and 4 weeks. But judging by how big this story has become and how so many people in the football world are outraged, you have to ask yourself the question, is Jose Mourinho really going to go to the Bernabeu next week and have this player in his squad? Even worse than that, is he going to have him in his starting 11? Having said all that, of course, I have to caveat it by saying that the player himself says that he did not directly racially abuse Vinicius Junior.
Yeah, he has denied those claims. Carve, why is Vinicius a target? He's always a target.
I mean, this has happened on countless occasions. He's been racially abused playing for his club and his country, I think, in more than a dozen stadiums. So-called football supporters have gone to prison for racially abusing him. Brazil has introduced a law called the Vinicius Junior Law, which deals with racist incidents at sporting grounds. The short answer to your question is, I think football for a long time has and still has a problem with racism. It also has a problem with how players react to racism. Because for a long time, black players were told by their managers, if you react to racist abuse, that is a sign of weakness. So what you have to do is just deal with it, ignore it. Because if you react, then the people who are racially abusing you have got one over you. So for a long time, they were just told to deal with it and keep quiet about it. Now that has changed, and it has changed really with Vinicius Junior, because he's somebody who will not just take it on the chin. If you racially abuse him, he will stand up for what he believes in. And I think that is the reason why he has a target on his back now, because he doesn't react the way football wants him to react, which is basically shut up and deal with it and let the people in suits deal with the issue. It's not down to you as a player. Shut up and play. He is refusing to shut up and play.
What Kaveh's mentioned there about that era where you don't speak about it, you know, you kind of